What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video on the Texas Rangers report, and obviously a big day for the Texas Rangers. As you know, we have made some moves. Let me know if you guys can see this all in the comment section. Let me know if you can see this and hear this. I'm pretty sure you can. But the big news today, we went off and we signed Marcus Semien to a 7-year deal worth $175 million, and that roughly gives him $25 million a year. And then later on, we and Marcus Semien has a qualifying offer. I'll break into all the details later. And then a few hours later, no, actually about the same time, we went and we signed Kole Calhoun. We're all familiar with him. He played for the Angels. He's 34, I think. The Diamondbacks didn't pick up his club option for $9 million, but we still don't know the details on that. I'm guessing it comes in around somewhere below 9 million. And then right as I was about to start this, we signed Jon Gray. I had to change the thumbnail, had to change the title, but we signed Jon Gray to a 4-year, $56 million contract. I think he goes in and he becomes the ace, if you will, right away for the Texas Rangers. And this kind of reminds me similar to the Mike Minor, Lance Lynn, Kyle Gibson type of deals over the past few years, because it just gives me that similar vibe. So his average annual value for Jon Gray will be around 14 million, so a little higher than those deals for Kyle Gibson, Lance Lynn, etc. Because those were all around 10 million. But this was definitely interesting. I knew the Rangers. I made a YouTube short yesterday on the channel saying, or maybe 2 days ago, that the Rangers were interested in Jon Gray. And I did predict that the Rangers were trying to make a splash before the lockout, because December 1st, the collective bargaining agreement ends for Major League Baseball. And if the MLB or if the owners lock out, then no transactions can happen during that time period. So the Texas Rangers have backed up what they have said that they were going to do this offseason, which was spend. And so far, they've done that. And they went out, signed Marcus Semien, the shortstop / second baseman. He was in a candidate to win MVP. We all know he wasn't, but he had a spectacular season. We went on and signed Jon Gray, and right now Kole Calhoun, which figures to be in the mix for the outfield, probably right field, and you can have Adolis Garcia play center field. Let me go into some of these comments right here. Let's go from Trey Guowen. Yes, I'm probably referring to the Marcus Semien. It is super excited that we got Marcus Semien. So he does have a qualifying offer, which means we will have to give up our second highest draft pick next year, which will be our second round pick, and $500,000 in international free agent bonus money, just so you guys are aware. And if this isn't ruling out going after another shortstop, so we could still go after Trevor Story. And if we were to do that, then we would lose our third highest draft pick next year, which would be our third round pick. Yes, Tato, I'm excited. They're going to turn Jon Gray into a number 3 pitcher with 10 Ks per 9. Oh, and they're not done yet. They're signing either Baez or Story and Suzuki tomorrow. Yeah, so they are interested in Suzuki. I made a few videos on that. I think could be a sneaky pickup since he is from Japan, and sometimes teams are a little worried about giving money out to the players from Japan, but he's not going to get as much money as like a Kyle Schwarber or Nick Castellanos. And then your outfield could look like Suzuki in left, Adolis at center, and Kole Calhoun in right. And if we were to go after Javier Baez or Trevor Story, that would be insane, because that middle infield would be ridiculous. With obviously, if you got Baez or Story, they'd be the shortstop, and Marcus Semien over at second base. What would that do to IKF? Probably a utility player playing where you need to. maybe he would compete for Josh Young for the third base opening spot. But I mean, going after two shortstops, I'm down for that. Okay, but I still think we do need to at least try to get one more starting pitcher. And then Tato goes back and says, I'm leaning more towards him signing Baez because he doesn't have a qualifying offer attached to him. Perhaps. I mean, Baez is good with the glove, strikes out a bunch, but since we already got Marcus Semien, are you worried about the strikeouts that much? I don't know. I don't know. Dak Prescott lets it go. Yes. I'm shaking. Spartan Mike, Robbie Ray's in talks as we speak with the Rangers. Okay, I haven't really. I think I saw a report from The Athletic that said the Rangers are kind of interested, but I wasn't able to read it since I'm not subscribed to The Athletic. But that could be interesting. Robbie Ray just won a Cy Young, I believe. And he does have a qualifying offer attached, but he is one of those guys, kind of like Kevin Gausman, where they just came off the best year of their career. And are you willing to go pay a guy premium dollars for just one good season? And maybe that doesn't translate for the remainder of the big contract that you go give him, but he would help the rotation if he were to stay up to that level of play. And then you have Jon Gray, Dane Dunning, etc., etc. Marcus, I'm so stoked. And then Mike Cap. Okay, I mean, maybe it would. Yeah, I'm curious where it was. I'm not saying it's false, but I just haven't seen it. Maybe you guys have seen something on Twitter. I'm not on Twitter, but perhaps. Okay, stuff about Robbie Ray. It's not signed yet. Yeah, don't forget about Clayton Kershaw, guys, because we have the Dodger connection. I've been through this so many times, but there's so many Dodgers players in the organization. We got all the coaches. And I honestly think that if Clayton Kershaw doesn't sign with the Dodgers, then he could sign with the Rangers. And let's not kid ourselves. Obviously, he is on the decline of his career, but there's no lying that he can help out the rotation when healthy. I mean, just based off his stats from this year, he would have been the best starter in the Rangers rotation. And yes, he's declining, but he could still be the second best player in the Rangers rotation next year now that we have Jon Gray. And I think that he provides so much beyond just the stats. He provides veteran leadership and a postseason experience, which is crucial. And going back to Marcus Semien, he provides that exact same thing for a super young hitting team. I'm assuming this is the contract you'd give him, so that's super unrealistic. Keep it realistic, guys. Okay, questions. Yeah, make sure to put all your questions in the comments. I'll answer all of them. How was your Thanksgiving? Was the cinnamon pie tasty? So Thanksgiving was good. It was a little. It was good, but I didn't have any pie. But it smelled good. I don't think we should get rid of it. So yeah. So at my house we have cinnamon pie. We make a lot of pies, and they're saying that we should cut one pie for next year. I don't think it should be cinnamon. I think it should be the apple. Okay, this is about Thanksgiving, probably. Okay, let's keep it. Okay, let's keep it regarding baseball. Let me find another baseball question. Okay, Story and Kershaw next. Talk about leadership. Oh, I get this. So you're saying if the Rangers were to sign Kershaw or Story, then it would provide good leadership to the team. I definitely agree. I just mentioned what Kershaw would bring. I think Story would possibly bring the same thing, not as to the same level as Clayton Kershaw, but definitely would bring good leadership. And then you just provide what Marcus Semien brings as well, and then they could feed off each other, because when veterans get together, they can always bounce ideas off each other, and it helps younger players learn greatly. And that could help guys like Josh Young, young guys that are already in the major leagues. So it could help out tremendously. I mean, we would lose draft picks first story, but I mean, we already lost one. Why not lose another? I guess I don't know. We got we got Kole Calhoun. So right after we signed Marcus Semien, we went and signed Kole Calhoun. I don't know the details yet, but I'm assuming it's a fair offer, like 1 year, $6 million. I don't know, because his club option for the Diamondbacks was $9 million, and he declined that. Darren, in all honesty, how long in your mind will it take for the Rangers to get to the level they were in 2011? So I think in 2023, they'll start to be relevant again. And then I think after 2023, we will take shots at trying to get to the World Series. So not this year, but I think in 2023 and beyond, that's when we start to be relevant again. I'm trying to click on this next question. It's not loading. Oh, crap. Okay, here we go. Shoot. Whoops. Okay, Blake Hutchinson. I don't think more without ending his season. I still think he's worth it for the reasons I mentioned. You have to learn how to adjust in your career. Look at what Bartolo Colon did. He used to throw really, really fast, and then towards the later parts of his career, he just had to adjust. I think Clayton Kershaw's smart. He's super savvy that he can adjust without using his fastball that much. And so, and then he brings all the other qualities with veteran leadership and postseason experience. And he has the Dodger connection with Chris Woodward. I still think he would be worth it. But if you overpay him, then it's a little less worth it. But we just have to see what he wants. And it's kind of weird right now because of the lockout looming and then his injury. So it's kind of hard to know where he actually sits right now with his value. We're paying Calhoun $5.2 million next season. Okay, so that's interesting. I guess it would be somewhere around that range since the Diamondbacks declined his $9 million option. I'm just curious, where did you see that? Because I've been looking all night and I haven't found any reports. So if you could put that down below, that'd be great. Samuel, I would like them to sign Kris Bryant or Kyle Schwarber. Okay, if we sign Kris Bryant, that would be dope. I mean, Kyle Schwarber would be cool too, but that's more of like a DH left fielder. Kris Bryant could play pretty much anywhere, like third base, first base, all the outfield. Although I think if you sign like Kris Bryant, that probably eliminates your chances to sign Trevor Story or Javier Baez. But I think anybody's on the table at this point, if we're being honest, because the Rangers have said they're willing to spin, and then these signings have proven that they're willing to go after anybody. And so, honestly, anybody's on the table for me. And Kris Bryant and Kyle Schwarber they don't have a qualifying offer attached, so we wouldn't lose a draft pick. And I know there's some guys on the team like Willie Calhoun's like, oh, he could be the DH. He needs to prove himself. Well, the guy's already 27, and he gets injured all the time. And if you really want to turn the corner, should you go after a guy like Kris Bryant or Kyle Schwarber? Something the Rangers have to consider. But I'm at the point in my fan career that I wouldn't mind going after guys like Kris Bryant, Kyle Schwarber, not Carlos Correa, but Javier Baez, Trevor Story, Seiya Suzuki, because I do think the farm system is where it needs to be so we can sign the free agents. And then in a year, like next year and the year after that, the farm system can consistently help out and produce at the major league level. with the free agents as well. Again, from Tato, yikes, that's probably signing Scherzer 4 years. Are you serious? Let me look. Oh, wait, let me look at my phone. Yeah, so I look at all my stuff on MLBTradeRumors.com. Okay, so the Angels just signed Michael Lorenzen. Marlins agreed to extension with Sandy Alcantara. It doesn't say Scherzer has signed anywhere. It just says he's expected to make his decision before the lockout. Okay, so the Kole Calhoun, Kole Calhoun, $5.2 million. That's on MLB Trade Rumors as well. I mean, that's fair, and it's only a 1-year deal. So if we aren't that good this year, he could always be a trade piece. Not that much invested into him, but you could play him at right field. He could be DH, left field. Leaves the options open for the Rangers, and you can still have room to go after bigger players. From Samuel, man, the Wi-Fi is pretty garbage right now. I believe the Rangers aren't done yet. Finally, the owners are making moves. I believe that too. I believe still staying for the shortstops. Javier Baez, Corey Seager, Travis Story, and another pitcher possibly, and some outfielder. One more outfielder as well. Tato. By the way, Calhoun deal was brought up by Mark Feinsand or something like that. I forgot his last name. I just looked it up on MLB Trade Rumors. Should the Rangers go after Freddie Freeman or no? They shouldn't go after them because if we're being honest, the Rangers have a lot of needs, but first base isn't really one of them because we have Nate Lowe and he's honestly had a really underrated season last year. So that's really not a need for the Rangers right now. Okay. Tai Shepe. The best case scenario for me is we get Seiya Suzuki and Trevor Story. That would be dope. I said in one of my shorts the other day that maybe I predicted the Rangers would do something before the lockout. Do the Rangers do more moves before the lockout? Do they go after Suzuki and Story? Maybe. I mean, so Suzuki, he was posted a few days ago. And the thing with international players is that they get a month to sign with the team. So the month is clicking for Suzuki. If he doesn't sign with the team, he has to go back and play with Japan. With the lockout coming up, it makes things a little tricky. I haven't read all the rules. I think the MLB and the Japanese league have to work on an agreement if there is a lockout. Would Suzuki have to go back and play in Japan, or would he get a negotiation time after the lockout? So if he doesn't get negotiation time, would he be super willing to sign right now, or if he, I don't know, it's just all going, because if he doesn't get negotiation time, he wouldn't have time to sign after the lockout because he'd have to go back and play in Japan. So maybe he's willing to take a quick deal right now. So that's something to think about. I've never been happier yet. Marcus, I mean, this was a good class with all the shortstops. Marcus Semien won't play shortstop most likely for the Rangers. He's going to play second base. So IKF could still play short, but let's still look and try to sign another shortstop. Trevor Story, Carlos Correa, Javier Baez. At this point, I really don't care who it is. I know Javier Baez doesn't have a qualifying offer attached. Or don't even forget about Corey Seager. But at this point, I really don't care because Marcus Semien adds really good qualities with the bat. And then if you add another one, then you can't be too picky, if I'm being honest. Because we thought going into this, we were only getting one. But if we get two, I mean, we couldn't be happier, if we're being honest. Honestly, from Tato, there needs to be deadlines to sign free agents in the next CBA. That would be interesting. Would it be before? Well, I don't know. Because if you think about it, you can always sign free agents whenever in any single sport. So I think it'd bring a weird dilemma to the sport if you could only sign players at certain times because let's just say you have to sign him before spring training, and then you can't sign him at any other point. That say a player gets injured and you need another player, that eliminates a whole element of acquiring extra talent because otherwise you just have to trade and call up prospects, but it would create another element of urgency. So I don't know if I'm the biggest fan of that, but it's definitely interesting to think about. From Blake Hutchinson, I hope we give some prospects a chance. Staying young would be nice. I mean, we definitely are going to give him a chance. That's what spring training is all about. Look at Josh Young to get to potentially win the third base job because he raked in AAA. He's super close, and I think the Rangers are gonna challenge him. But with that in mind, I think they want him to win the third base job as well. Hasn't Willie been injured by getting hit in the face with a ball multiple times? He's only gotten hit in the face once, and then a lot of other stuff is just like him pulling a hamstring because he's running in the outfield or running the bases. Or I think didn't he break his wrist one time? But I mean, at some point, whether it's a fluke injury or not, your chances run out. And I like Willie, but he is 27, but he's I think his chances are starting to get limited. Same with Nick Solak. And especially with all these prime free agents, if we sign one or two more position players, it's going to be tough to find playing time for those type of fringe players like Willie, Nick Solak, Andy Ibanez. I mean, that's what spring training's for. You got to go improve it, prove that you're still worth the shot, and go prove in the work in the off season. But honestly, right now I'm willing to sign free agents and then prevail a good competition level come spring training, so they have to earn it instead of the Rangers just giving it to them right away. Oh, Joel Sherman on Twitter. Okay, that's the Kole Calhoun. Okay, got it. That's been hurting his progress. I mean, he's only been hit in the face once, and then if your confidence is still down from getting hit in the face, I mean, I get it because that's Julio Urias throwing 99 to the face. But if your confidence is going to be down your whole career, then that's not going to be good because we need you to play like the prize Dodgers prospect, as I like to say from MLB The Show. But I mean, like I said, it's hamstring injuries as well, not just being hit in the face. And for a guy that doesn't have a position in the field and he's not hitting well all the time, he's getting injured, it's tough. Pop, that's what I thought because I think he could turn into really good. They're playing second or his days at second are over, let's be honest. I don't think they should give up. I'm just saying that his time is limited with the Rangers. If he doesn't start, this might be his last season, but he's got to prove it. And if he doesn't, same with Nick Solak, Andy Ibanez, all those guys, then that'll probably be their last time in the Rangers uniform. Because we do have prospects on the rise: Justin Foscue, Luis Angel Acuna, etc., Josh Smith, Ezekiel Duran. And those guys can play in the infield. They can play DH too. And outfield is always a last resort, so they could probably do that as well. Because Willie was a second baseman. Outfield was a last resort. And the goal was always to move into DH. But I think time's running out. Trey Guay-Juwan, sorry if I mispronounced that, front office doing this right now to show that we're interested in Story and Kershaw. Mark my words. So that we're interested in. Honestly, I don't know what you mean by that. To show that we're interested. I think they're interested in Kershaw and Story. If they sign them, that'd be awesome. We'll just see how the off season goes. Darren Funk, have you ever heard of John Boy Media? If not, I recommend you checking their content out. If you have, then I believe that you contact them and part of their content stream. Interesting. Yeah, I know who they are. They make some pretty cool content for this baseball clip. Is pretty funny. I show my brother the videos all the time. From Tai Chape, what do you think about Joey Gallo rumor? What is it? Joey Gallo trade? Let me look it up right now. I know that the Yankees aren't happy with Joey Gallo because the fan base is pretty harsh to its players. Oh, I think it's this one right here. Yeah, well, you guys can't see that. It's by Nolan Written. It says the Texas Rangers could actually trade for Joey Gallo. I doubt it. Would he play better in Texas? Probably than what he did with the Yankees. Because I mean, the Yankees was a good situation for him. You get the short porches with the Yankees. You get a bunch of protection in the lineup. It's just I don't know if New York was ever a really good atmosphere for Joey Gallo, and it would probably be a cheap return if we're being honest for Gallo. Have you just look at the Adam Frazier trade? The Padres trade for Adam Frazier. They had to give up a lot of prospects, or they gave up Tuca Pita Mercano and a few other guys. So it was a decent prospect haul that they had to give up. And then they traded him a few days ago for some pretty garbage prospects. So if the Rangers did the same thing with Gallo, they probably wouldn't have to give up much, if we're being honest. And he could go in and play right field, move Calhoun to left. It could be interesting because that would be cheaper than going and signing Chris Bryant, Nick Castellanos, Trevor Story. But do I really think the Yankees are going to trade him? No, I don't. Because we all know what Joey Gallo can do. And I know what the Yankees know what Joey Gallo can do. It's just the fan base isn't really happy with them. So I don't think that's going to happen. No, the surgery contract is reported by Joel Sherman, not the Calhoun deal. Oh. J Money, Gallo, good for outfield. Yeah, he's good. He's got 2 Gold Gloves. So yeah, if you're just joining the live stream, the Rangers inked Marcus Semien today to a 7-year, $175 million contract to be the Rangers' second baseman for the next 7 years. And then Kole Calhoun, who had his player option declined by the Diamondbacks a few days ago, he signed a $5.2 million contract with the Rangers for 1 year to play in the outfield. And then a few minutes before I started this live stream, the Texas Rangers inked another deal with right-handed pitcher Jon Gray for a 4-year, $58 million contract, which is basically another similar signing which they have done with guys like Kyle Gibson, Lance Lynn, etc. So he would come in, be the number 1 guy. So I still think the Rangers need another starter in the rotation to bring stability, but the Rangers have said that they're going to spend this offseason, and they have backed that up so far. Going back to the comments, a tweet from Michael Mayer says that there are calls for Joey Gallo, and there's at least one AL West team involved. So let's be honest. I think the entire AL West thinks that they could contend this year. So besides the Athletics, so I don't necessarily think that means the Rangers. I think as Rangers fans, we want to get excited and think that means us. But that there's no guarantee. If Joey Gallo came back, I'd be stoked because let's think of the possibilities. So we get him. We probably trade some garbage prospects because his value's down with the Yankees. He's going to get like $9 million in arbitration this year. This will be his last year of arbitration. You can go back, try to give him a contract extension. Although, if we're garbage, you can trade him again. Hopefully, he plays better. Or, I'd say you don't trade him. You can give him a qualifying offer, and then you can get draft picks next year. Do I think it's the realistic situation? No. But would it be cool to have Gallo back? Yeah. And there are routes you could take if you get Gallo back. John Boy has the funny content, but they also have a Yankees podcast, a Mets podcast, and then a baseball podcast in general. Who knows? They may want to range. Who knows? They may want a Rangers podcast. I mean, I think Dallas is one of the biggest sports markets in the U.S. I mean, I think it goes California, New York, the DFW area. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe I email. It's worth a shot. Cap sales. Who do you think the Rangers should go after in the draft? They should go after me in the draft, guys. I'm 5'8". I'm 135 pounds. I throw 60 miles an hour. No, I'm just kidding. So the draft is so far away that you never really get a good sense of who they should draft. So we have the 3rd overall pick, and I mean, I'll give you some guys right away. You have Jace Young. Oh, crap. I honestly forgot everybody in the draft. But, yeah, Jace Young is one guy right off the top of the bat. You have Kumar Rocker as well. Who knows how his elbow is going to do this year. But there's so many guys last year that fell. Like, I made a video last year, and the number 1 guy was Kumar Rocker, and then I had Judd Fabian as the number 2, and I also had Adrian Del Castillo as a possibility. Both of those guys fell to the 2nd round. So it's just funny how it all works out. But look at Jace Young, because, I mean, he's Josh Young's brother from Texas Tech, hits extremely well, probably moved to the majors fast. And then Kumar Rocker is an interesting story as well. I have videos on the channel as well if you want to check that out, but I'm honestly blanking on a lot of the other names. From Tato, all this, and we have the number 3 overall pick here. Yeah, let's just not blow the pick. So since we signed Semien, of course, we aren't going to get our super high 2nd round pick, but we still have the 3rd overall pick. Logan Ernst, Seiya news. I mean, I could look up right now. I don't think Seiya Suzuki. I don't know if any team is like the favorite to sign Suzuki right now. I'm curious if he signs before December 31st, because that's the deadline. But no like actual news on Seiya Suzuki. If the Rangers were to sign him, I'd be happy. I mean, if the Rangers signed a decent amount of people, I'd be happy because I don't think we could get too much worse. It's like the Dallas Cowboys defense of last year. We were the worst, and we couldn't get any worse, if you know what I mean. I mean, there's definitely some free agent signings I'd be like, what the heck are we doing? We haven't made those, and the guys that we have talked about in this live stream, those definitely wouldn't be those signings. I'd definitely be stoked if we got those. J Money, I think story coming in another pitcher, then we'll be done. Yeah, I wanted Kevin Gausman. We didn't get him. Stroman is still out there. That would be cool. Kershaw still out there. Who else? I feel like we talked about somebody else on this live stream. I don't really remember. My brain's getting fried. I played a little too much MLB The Show over the break. Story would be dope. The guy from Dallas. We've talked about him for almost a year now on the channel from the DFW area. I think that'd be dope. He could play shortstop. He could play left field. He wouldn't play left field, but just in case, I don't know, something happened, he could play left. But that would be dope as well. And I still think you should go after at least another outfielder as well. Case, Traymar Johnson. Don't know who that is. Oh, is that a draft guy? Possibly. I do need to do more research on the draft. But when I do more research on the draft, I guarantee the big boards are going to change. Tai Shepe. For me, I want Jace Young or Elijah Green. Oh, yeah, Elijah Green. I forgot about him. He's the number 1 player, the consensus number 1 player in the draft right now. Obviously, that could change. That happened last year with Kumar, who's going to be the number 1 guy. Then Jack Leiter rose up on draft boards. And and Kumar hurt his elbow. It's funny how the draft works. And then sometimes you'll get to the best guy in the draft, and he doesn't even go number one because Jack Leiter was easily the best guy in the draft last year, but he didn't go number one because he was expensive. So the Pirates chose Hunter Henry, the catcher. He's still pretty solid, but they wanted more money to go after other players later in the draft so they could have a more well-rounded draft. From Pop 38, Suzuki, the really good international agent. What the crap? You mean free agent? It's not like the FBI down here. But yeah, he's the top free agent from overseas this year. Last year's Ha-Seong Kim played really good defensively for the Padres, but his bat didn't translate. Maybe it will this year, but we'll just see. Suzuki has drawn comps to Ronald Acuna. Do I think he'll be Ronald Acuna? No, but if he could give you like 3 wins a year based on like WAR projections, then that's pretty solid if I'm being honest. From Tato, I swear I'm over here refreshing my Twitter every 2 minutes. In my arrogant opinion, this is like another trade deadline. Yeah, I mean, we're adding talent to the organization. It's super cool. One thing I did note, I don't think any of the trades are signings are official. But our 40-man was at 39. So the Rangers would have to create at least 2 40-man spots. I'm looking at the Rangers transactions right now. Yeah, the signings aren't official. So we'd have to create 2 40-man spots. And just looking at the roster right now, you could easily get rid of Yohel Pozo or Dennis Santana, Josh Spores, or if I'm being honest, the guys we literally just traded for, which was Billy McKinney or Zach Rex. I mean, that probably wouldn't happen because those are the Dodger guys. But you could get rid of those guys. It's pretty easy to create 40-man roster spots. So, and we aren't even done. So, those guys maybe get traded, maybe designated. We'll just see. Oh, and this is a good question. Tai Chape. I'm sorry if I'm saying this wrong. But thoughts on Owen White's performance during Arizona Fall League? Thumbs up. Thumbs up. I mean, this guy, 2nd-round draft pick for, I think, same year as, no, I totally forget the year. It's either 2018 or 2019. No, it's 2018, same year as Cole Winn. He's been lights out. And for him, it's been weird. He blew out his elbow, got Tommy John, and then he pitched a little, and then he had COVID season, and then he hurt himself this year. He just hasn't pitched a lot in the minors, and I mean, it's really good because the Rangers have the worst track history and 2nd-round draft picks in the MLB. It's crazy. And I mean, you really want to be hitting on your 2nd-round draft picks, your first, your second. Those are your best chance to get MLB talent. I know it doesn't happen that way all the time, but I mean, I'm really excited about Owen White. He's like our 29th overall prospect right now, according to MLB.com. But I'm excited. I don't think he'll make the majors this year. You never know, but maybe he gets to AAA. That'd be cool. And it's nice to see that our prospects are starting to do stuff, if I'm being honest. Let's get more free agents. Yeah. Dak Prescott. These moves easily give us 10 to 15 more wins. Probably, if I'm being honest. Yeah, I don't have any more to say about that. Dak Prescott, we lost on Thanksgiving. It was depressing. We just need Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb back, if I'm being honest. Landry Jackson, I want Suzuki, Story, and Kershaw. All right, I think we should go to John Daniels, bang on his door, and just tell him the free agents we want, and then maybe we can get them. That's probably not how it works, but I mean, in all reality, any of those free agents would be cool. But you could also replace Kershaw for Stroman. I'd still be happy. At this point, if you replace Story for Baez, I'd be happy because we have Semien now. So, or Suzuki for Chris Bryant, I'd be happy too. or even Schwarber. I don't know because we have Kole Calhoun, but I'd be happy. Dak, more signings coming. I believe so, but it's going to be weird with this deadline or lockout coming. Do we get more people before it, or is it going to be a weird frenzy of signings afterwards? It's going to be new for a lot of people in baseball, so we'll just see. I think a lot of the older free agents have been trying to sign because I think you might get reduced prices after the lockout because it might be like 2 weeks before the regular season. You just got to sign. So for the guys that are going to get a lot, they're still going to get a lot, but those guys that are lesser players, they might not get good deals. Nice. Ty Chappé. JD and Young out here playing MLB The Show with all this money. Yeah, that's kind of cool. It's like, oh, we need a starting pitcher. Let's go get him. Oh, we need an outfield bat. Let's get him. He's got B potential. He's a 75 overall. No, I'm just kidding. Actually, my MLB The Show, I'm doing the Diamondbacks. About to sign Chris Bryant. Yeah. Dak Prescott. Heck, maybe even 80. Wait, what? What was your 80 more wins? Nah. How many wins do we have last year? Like 60? Nah. Tyler Rainey. How soon will the other shortstop sign? I think at least one more signs before the deadline, and then probably the rest after the lockout. Tato. Owen White is a dude now. He's almost up there with Cole Winn in terms of reaching the big leagues. In my opinion, drafted the same year as Winn and played against good competition in Arizona Fall League. Not as good as Winn, though. Oh, wait, not as good as Winn. That is true. I mean, the thing is, Winn hasn't really been injured, so he has more innings under his belt. But yes, they were drafted same year, both high school draftees. But Winn just doesn't have as much innings, so I don't think he reaches the majors this year. Coleman probably does. And Arizona Fall League's interesting because it's not actually like a bunch of Rangers prospects on the same team. It's a bunch of players from different organizations on the same team playing against other players on different organizations on the same team. So it's not just a bunch of like young players, except it's actually like really good competition. And if you go to Twitter, look at Owen White's strikeouts, they're against big prospects. So I'm excited for Owen White. Excited for Ricky Vanasco to take TK Roby because he was pitching in Arizona Fall League. He was doing well. He was our third round draft pick last year. Things are looking bright. And I think that's why the Rangers wanted to sign free agents. Heck yeah. No bias, thanks. I mean, he doesn't have a comp pick tied to him. And now we have Semien. It's like, why not? I know that's not really how the front office should look at it. It's like, why not sign him? Why not sign him? But I think Baez still provides good base running, good defense, and some pop, but he strikes out a lot. Tato, you know what's a move that's going to annoy me? Astros signing Carlos Rodon. I just have that feeling. I don't know why. Going to be an underrated signing. I don't know how I feel about that because here's another guy that's had one good season. So it's like him, Gosman, and another guy. I talked about him earlier. I can't remember. But the guys that have only had 1 year, I'm a little hesitant to give out big contracts to because I don't know how they're going to perform next year or late into the deal. So it wouldn't be the worst thing if the Astros sign him, if I'm being honest. You'll probably just replace Zach Greinke's spot. And I know the Astros are good, but they're probably not going to be as good as they were. I think they're continuing to get worse because last year they lost George Springer. This year they're going to lose Correa, Zach Greinke. I mean, they got Verlander back, but they also continue to get older. So can you explain more about the lockout? Sure. So December 1st is when the collective bargaining agreement between the players and the owners ends. And the players and the owners haven't been on the same page for a while now. They're mad at each other. So the owners are going to. It's been reported around the league that the owners are going to have a lockout to gain leverage over the players in the new collective bargaining agreement whenever they start to decide on the bargaining agreement. So basically, no transactions can happen during a lockout. No trades, no signings, etc. And the reason why the owners wait to the off season is so they don't lose money during losing out on games. And if you wait to the regular season, then the players could do a strike. So if it's a strike, it's by the players. If it's a lockout, it's by the owners. So basically, the reason why the owners are doing this is so they don't lose money during the regular season on games, and so they can gain leverage over the players when it comes to negotiating. So who knows how long this could take? I mean, you can still the collective bargaining agreement can end, and you could still have transactions, but it's been reported that that's not going to happen. Most likely, 99% chance that there's going to be a lockout by the owners. I mean, in total, we get 80. Oh, 80 wins. Oh, that's possible. That would put us around the 500 team. Definitely possible. 81 wins is very possible. No, 82 wins is possible. Oh, no, 80 wins is not possible. 80 wins is definitely not possible. In my opinion, our team isn't very good, and who knows how Adolis perform. That's true. Adolis on base kind of sucked, if we're being honest. So that's why I do think the Rangers want to go after more free agents. So I do think once we sign all of our free agents, 80 wins is definitely possible. I think in our first year with Chris Woodward, we got somewhere near 80 wins, and that would definitely be a good sign moving forward. But Adolis is definitely, I don't think he's a lock for the future. He's definitely a lock for next year just because of the lack of talent on the team. But he does provide pop. His slugging was really good, but his on base really struggled. So I think he needs to work on his discipline because it's somewhere below 300 and he is an older player. So we need to see if he progresses. I know that people were like, he got snubbed for Rookie of the Year or the All MLB team. Nah, he didn't really get snubbed. And he had those really good first months of the year and he struggled and he started to heat up a little bit. I'm not down on him. I'm just saying he needs to improve. So I'm about to end the live stream in a little bit. So just a recap. If you have any more questions or comments, put them down. I'll answer them before I end this. But just to recap, the Rangers have signed 3 free agents today. Marcus Semien, 7 years, $175 million. Kole Calhoun, 1 year, $5.2 million to play in the outfield. And Jon Gray, 4 years, $58 million, I believe. So he'll probably come in, be our ace, if you will. And I think this is just the start for the Texas Rangers and the offseason. I'm not saying the Rangers are going to sign 10 more free agents, but I definitely think that they're still going to try to pursue other free agents because I think they believe their farm system is in a good spot to help out. So with that being said, thank you all for watching. If you have any more comments, questions, leave them down below and I'll answer any more and then I'll be done for tonight. And then maybe the Rangers have some more news by tomorrow. Who knows? Because I think a lot of free agents are going to try to sign before this lockout. Did you Ken's tweet? No, I just read the news off MLB. I just get it off MLB trade rumors. But are you referring that there's more news? If so, oh, Mets may be favorite for Max Scherzer. That's interesting. He could replace Noah Syndergaard. OMG, Rangers still trying for Corsi. That would be dope. That would be dope because he can go in and play shortstop. Like I said, Trevor Story, Javier Baez, Carlos Correa. I don't really care now. Just put it in. We got Marcus Semien. Go put one of those guys in and play shortstop. That'd be dope. I wonder if Dak, are you referring to Ken's tweet being that the Rangers are still on Corey Seager? Because that would be dope. And I definitely think Chris Woodward hasn't gotten his Dodgers guy yet. I know he wants to get at least Corey Seager. Hopefully not Chris Taylor. That'd be garbage. That would be a garbage signing. I wouldn't want that. Even if he plays well. No, I'm just kidding. But I don't want Chris Taylor. I know he wants Clayton Kershaw or Corey Seager. He's gotten all these lower guys like Josh Sborz and Santana, Brett the Guys, Billy McKinney, Zach Rex, etc., etc. Oh, DJ Peters. I know he's really wanted to make that big splash in the Dodgers organization. Maybe it's Corey Seager. We would have to get up another draft pick, but do you think the Rangers really care anymore? I'm just kidding. But I think I'm joking when I say this, but I think the Rangers do believe that their farm system is in a really good spot. That's why I believe, according to Rosen, that's actually dope. Thanks, man. Been fun, and thanks for your opinions. No problem. Make sure to like and subscribe because I got you covered all off season and during the season as well. You need to get Twitter. Yeah, I probably do. I think I have it, but I forgot to log in. I'm freaking out. So if the Rangers do sign Corey Seager, I won't be live tonight. I'll probably make a video tomorrow and then go live tomorrow, or if they sign anybody else. So thank you all for watching, and make sure to share, like, because likes help out the video the most. And if you subscribed, I really appreciate, because you could be with me for more videos and more live streams. We can talk in the comments about what I think about the Rangers, what you think about the Rangers, and it will be a fun time. So I appreciate all the guys, everybody who's been in this live stream. I'm pretty sure the Rangers will sign more. But with that being said, I'll see you on the next. Hello, and have a good night, everybody. Goodbye.